And into the draft phase we go. Already 3 bans from Estral, Trundle, Mbessa, and Rumble. Tigres is still paying respect to Winsome's Nico as well as Cody's Talia. And now, the Lucian ban as the AD carry pool begins to thin in this best of 5. Tigres is taking notice that, hey, we do not want to give them the opportunity just to immediately blind pick Lucian. And the Wukong was left on the table as one of the last junglers left in this skirmishing pool.
Yeah, of course, Jhin is still up and available too, so I think you're very comfortable with that one as SDM Tigres. Already a pretty strong top jungle duo. And that opportunity to have a top laner who's going to be really strong inside lane later on for Jauny. But now, he's putting on the carry pants for real, Mark. And
both, not only Jhin Zhao, but also Jax can be strong tools for this squad, as you mentioned. Depending on how many auto attackers Estral will be relying on, but the Annie does show itself in this game 3. Now, normally we see it mid lane, but as we saw in their series against Disguise, they gave the Annie over to Shintalx. Now, do we see a lane swap happen again like we did last time? Not sure.
Yeah, we'll see. If there's that option potentially for the Akali to come through for the side of Estral. Could see Cody do that and go for that IRL swap you mentioned. Or maybe Shintalx would be the one to play that, and it really is Annie mid. We'll have to see. It ends up being a Jhin in the bottom lane. Not the most amount of damage, but you're already working with a good bit, Mark. I'm going to pitch something to you.
Okay.
And it's good.
Okay.
SDM just needs to play Seraphine. It's so good.
Ooh.
It's so good. I promise. Yeah. In fact, if Estral don't ban it, like surely SDM will play that pick. Like it's already really good. And when you pair it with champs like Jax and Jhin, not a whole lot of damage is there from Estral. So, you know, Ezreal, Annie, you have that healing shielding. I can feel it. I can smell it, Mark.
Yeah, and I think the call out from Tigres banning away the Karma, not only because Ezreal Karma can be such an obnoxious lane to play against, but having the constant shields to give you the pseudo sustain necessary to continuously pump out mystic shots, give Wukong some space and sustain to play out a prolonged team fight as we get further and further into the later stages of the game. And if you eliminate more enchanter options, and then you take one of the best enchanters left available in that Seraphine, then I'm on that same line with you, Beatdown. Estral paying some respect over to Skyy, though, by banning out that Syndra.
Right, want to remove some of those big range burst damage options for Skyy, because again, they are lacking a little bit in that damage department, so it does make me wonder what Sky's going to go in with. And yeah, the Akali ban makes sense. Could anticipate that either Shintal or Cody would be playing at that, depend on champ allocation.
Tigres doing their homework and covering their bases there. Still curious where this Annie ends up going. In any other circumstances, we would just say that, yes, it goes mid lane for Cody. However, because we've seen it from Shintal in this tournament, that's where the hesitation comes from. But this board for Ichiwin was monumental in their grand finals performance against Estral during the LRM playoffs. So Ichiwin relying on a pick that maybe could give them the key to making the comeback happen.
Yeah, and I mean, it does make sense. I boo just because I really like Seraphine here, but you still have a pretty good playmaking potential with that ultimate, the Tempered Fate. The roams are going to be really impactful, and being able to use that magical journey to attack from different angles. Oh my god, it's happening.
But Sylas is still open.
It's happening.
Yeah. Okay.
Surely we R5 Sylas.
We have, guys, there's a Leona ultimate
no,
you can grab.
No. Wait, we're too lost in the sauce. I'm pretty sure Sylas into Annie is just dog water. So, you know, I still think the answer is Seraphine, by the way. Just throwing that out. Seraphine mid. Thoughts?
I see a Malphite. I'm always taking Sylas, man. Dude, like you just have to. But I think that's the gamble that Estral were taking and saying, listen, if they want to play Sylas, they can, but Cody is going to have a monster laning phase, supposedly, into this Sylas. Now, okay, we need to wait for the 20-second timer. I'm not going to get baited. until the
mid
very
is
end.
not
There we
real.
go.
It's okay, Mark.
Yeah,
It can't hurt you.
I know. What? Hang on. Not to Insanity. They didn't say
Fair.
Insanity has played Jhin mid
I
in the
did see it
past.
once in the LFL too, but you know, both times it was not good, so we don't have to discuss that.
Whoa! Oh, both times. Hang on. Insanity won with Jhin mid.
Okay, cool.
Come
Winning doesn't mean the pick was good. Like, let's keep it a stack.
Put some respect on David Shawley's name, bro. Come.
Dude, David Shawley is great. He's a good player. I just don't like Jhin mid. That's all.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Well, composition's officially locked in. We called it earlier on in the broadcast, y'all. As we get further and further down the Fearless line, Malphite is going to be a legitimate option for Shintalx in this scenario. And lo and behold, even though they weren't able to ban the Sylas away and defend it further, at least we get to see the rock monster himself load up onto Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, and in such a crucial scenario too, Estral very close to getting the 3-0 that none of us on the broadcast could have predicted, especially given these circumstances around the roster. And SDM Tigres, woof, they really need to wake up. They want a chance in this series. One game away from elimination, one game away from losing their chance to compete for LCS 2026.
Here we go. We hit the rift for game 3. Backs against the wall for the Tigres and match point for Estral Esports.
No level 1s this time. Things are a lot more chill than before. As really, as much as I agree with how good Sylas looks here in terms of ults, we see what Cody has been able to do against Skyy in lane in all the matches these teams have played against each other so far in Split 2. And we saw what he did in Game 1 with a big advantage. And the Annie, as long as you dodge the abscond abduct, is a pretty good advantage. You can see it. He even goes first strike, which you don't see a lot of anymore. But in this matchup, there will be a good amount of value gained from it.
Yeah, he's got the range, so probably trying to help continuously farm even more gold onto him. Oh my god, the level 1 roam from Ichiwin. That's going to push Cody off and take a decent chunk of his health bar early on.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, well played from Cody to be able to just get that stun and not really have to lose anything for that roam. And that's time away that Ichiwin was spending away from the bot lane.
Being able to see all 3 lanes now, as I think you called it, Beatdown. They did a bit of a lane swap here, this time enacted by the Tigres, so that they could try and punish Shintalx's Malphite with a Jhin early on. Now, normally, once the Malphite builds a ton of armor, he's not going to care about 80 carry damage. But early on, when he doesn't have those armor stats, it is a little bit more punishable.
Yeah, so I like the move there from Virus and the rest of SDM. Anything to get him a bit of an advantage in this game is welcome. Oh, Winsome.
Nice look, though, from Estral Esports overall. Unfortunate that Winsome doesn't connect with the Zenith Blade, but the damage is done. Skyy is below 50% HP and forced to flash. So not only they give Cody an advantageous matchup in the mid lane, but also ensuring that Skyy is put even further in the dirt by losing out on crucial tools.
Yeah, but if we talk about scaling and like later stages of the game, SDM Tigres, they have a lot to work with here. Sylas, as the game goes on, is going to be really nice this game. Again, with the ults he's able to steal and the stats that he will be able to build. Jhin is still strong later on into the game. Of course, there's the Jax too. So if SDM are able to keep even find some earlier advantages, they could have a pretty solid ability to team fight their way to a win. And of course, there's the fact that, Jauny, as once we get later on into the game, it's going to be really hard for anybody to be able to 1v1 him, making him, as we pointed out in draft, a big side lane threat.
That's right. And while SDM Tigres are trying to do their best to put Shintalx further behind, he's still going to be Malphite, guys. He still will have the chance to cast the ultimate and find a knockup onto at least one guaranteed target, if not multiple. The rest of Tigres are clumped up together. So still overall nice conditions for Estral Esports if they continue leveraging Cody on this Annie and giving Ghost a 2v1 lane into the Jax.
Twice now, I saw Winsome miss a Zenith Blade and thinking, wow, he must be really happy he missed that.
Yeah. Well, he's going to flash over the wall. Mataz and Jauny falling over as well, and Winsome is just going to give his life for the cause, knowing that he's got no way out. Maybe Ghost can find one kill back. He does on the Jauny, and now Mataz with the teleport coming in from Cody. He has to find a way to fight his way out. Even though he has the health advantage, he has to deal with an aim surprise, and that's the double going into Ghost Ezreal's pockets.
Nice use of the TP advantage from Cody. Now he's going to be able to go mid and not really lose very much, though Skyy is trying to make a play on him. What really matters is Ghost gets the red buff. He's got a double kill on this Ezreal. Getting this lead is so nice.
Skyy being able to intercept Cody on the way back to mid lane takes a huge chunk of his health bar there. Below 200 HP. If Skyy had flash, he could look for a kill. Unfortunately, that flash was burned a couple minutes ago, Beatdown.
That's right. Again, so much value from that play paid forward onto this bot lane teleport that Cody was able to produce. And now you can see that lead starting to grow there. Oh my god, the minion saved his life.
Oh, and SolidSnake flashing forward, knowing that Skyy does not have a way out if the up's-gun abduct cooldown does not come back in time, and indeed it does not. Estral get 3 kills for themselves. They claim the feat of strength. Meanwhile, action on the top side of the map. Winsome trying to chase. Ichiwin as he gets the flash even. It doesn't matter. Ghost now 3 kills on the Ezreal.
Estral winning on 2 fronts, and even now, Mataz trying to see if he can get something back. He probably won't, to be honest. So it's just win, win, win for Estral Esports and a 3-0 on the Ezreal against a team that has no tanks, Mark.
And the stark reality of Estral Esports cleaning out a 3-0 sweep is starting to slowly settle in. Cody will intercept Mataz in the jungle, throws down the Tibbers, and Shintalx does not level 6, but he can still clap that ass. Mataz going down. Estral Esports on the board for their 5th kill of the game. Skyy getting intercepted, has the Malphite ulti, but Cody, perfect flash on the frame of the ultimate, is able to get away from Skyy's hands.
Beautiful reaction, and yet another small victory there for Estral. And you can see it, Winsome here to allow Cody to easily get this next wave in, and recall means that really there's no recourse for SDM in this early game. They've already lost so much. That's 5 kills Estral have been able to produce.
Shintal, not even level 6, and he has made a positive impact on this game with the Rock Monster, man. I know he's down 25 CS. He's still a Malphite. And the chances for Estral Esports victory in this best of 5 are looking grander and grander here, as we're about a minute away from the grub spawning on the map.
And a grub spawn that Estral should have no problem collecting in full. Although, if Mataz is able to get level 6 on this wave, maybe there's a chance that he could have an impact, and he does. He has access to the Crescent Guard. Maybe we could see a gank mid or top lane, as there are 2 flashless people that could be punished.
Taz level 6 here, has the Crescent Guard available, but so does SolidSnake with the Cyclone, as he's going to take up position on the top side river, obscured in the darkness provided by that control ward. Wind Becomes Lightning does barely miss on Cody's head, as he's just taking his due diligence and pushing up the wave and giving priority necessary for Estral to secure all 3 grubs.
Yeah, and again, this is the second time this series, Estral will be able to collect all 3 of them. It does mean that while they don't really have any split push pressure on their side, denying all of them is going to limit the ability Jauny might have of split pushing later on into the game. And again, as we've seen before, any siege they do as a group is going to be so much more impactful.
Tigres not completely out of this game, but the foundation blocks for an Estral Game 3 victory have already been set. Ghost is 3 kills ahead, has a bounty on his head as a response. Already working to stack up that tier, a Jhin in his pocket. Mataz and the rest of Tigres trying to find any small advantages they can in stealing away some jungle camps, but Winsome is enough to at least help secure SolidSnake. Big chicken nugget there. And the next objective play is not for some time here, Beatdown, so Estral Esports, they are chilling as they scale on up.
The only bright side for SDM They got that first dragon. Soul is technically on the menu for them. Will they be able to focus down and get the remaining ones is the question. 1,000 gold at this stage. Not too big, really. It is a lot of it is on Ghost. So as long as he doesn't get more kills. Right, guys? Okay.
Magical Journey is a nice way to disengage from any situation there for the Tigres there. So like we said before, there's no real objectives to play around, but Estral Esports feel very confident in being able to take any fights around Ghost Ezreal at this point in the game.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult unless they're able to prioritize him, take him down, and actually kill him. That could be a big fight turner because the majority of the lead Estral are working with are him.
Cody might be in trouble, but dodges the chains, and he sidesteps the Tempered Fate. He sidesteps the Leona ultimate that was stolen by Skyy. He eventually goes down because they overwhelmed him with 4 members there, but it took almost everything from the Tigres just to assassinate him, and SolidSnake will get a response back as he flies over the wall, gets the Cyclone, has 1 more cast, and the rest of Tigres have to make the hell out of there as Mataz forces the early Cyclone used by SolidSnake just to make sure that Skyy can return to lane safely.
It's still 2 for 1. Well, was a nice response for SolidSnake. Good play coming through from SDM, already getting more value out of the Sylas. Stealing that Leona ulti, and it's a play that they desperately needed with how this early game had been going, Mark. And it's nice. Punish Cody, who's overstepping a little bit. To his credit, this dude was dodging everything, man. Like, it was ridiculous. But at the end of the day, the slow from the stolen solar flare is what got him.
Cody with the fancy feet, bro. My God. They called them La Farsa for a reason, Chilean Faker. And even on a champion like Annie, he had the sweet, sweet moves to sidestep a lot of those ultimates from Tigres. And now, Estral Esports still not massively ahead in terms of overall gold, but big power spike in the Trinity Force being completed by Ghost just in time for this next Dragon fight. Trinity Force also completed for SolidSnake as well, so Estral should feel confident in taking fights around these 2 carries.
Yeah, and that's the thing for SDM, and why I like that mid lane play. Play away from the Ezreal. Right now, he's just not somebody you want to be trifling with. That's just the fact. So the fact that they made that play mid lane is great. I want to see more of that. Plays onto Cody, plays onto Shintalx, and trying to limit Ghost's gains to simply farm.
SolidSnake just baiting out the Magical Journey from Ichiwin, showing that he means business and that river does not belong to the Tigres right now. Our picture-in-picture showing that Shintalx and Jauny were in a battle to the death. Jauny at least popped the Grandmaster's Might, and Shintalx still has his unstoppable force available. Great patience and being able to withstand the storm, even though he is down a lot of CS. He's able to handle himself against Johnny's Jax.
Yeah, but part of it is too that Jauny has to restrain himself because, yeah, you can tower dive the Malphite and there's a good chance he'll get the kill, but he'll trade. Because I remember this is 2025. Turrets do a lot of damage, and that unstoppable force will cost precious seconds under that turret.
Yep. About 50 seconds away from the second dragon of the game spawning. Tigres, the fact that they were able to pick up the first dragon means that Estral Esports are not threatening the objective feat anytime soon. Might be a win condition that they can still play for, as SolidSnake is not able to stop the recall in time. Ichiwin is going to take the long road back to the bottom side of the map, but because VODS does not have any support, he's going to have to concede a majority of this wave, and it's another turret plate going into Ghost's pockets, and even the True Shot Barrage might try and stop any bases that comes out as well, or just put some damage down. But Skyy roaming over to the bottom side of the map. Tempered Fate does not find anything as SolidSnake able to dodge it thanks to the power of that clone.
Yeah, it wasn't an ambitious Bard ultimate, but I guess I can respect the look. Again, right now, this is the better play.
Looking for Cody. Oh, the upscone abduct clips.
Oh, nice gun.
Cody is forced to flash away. No way. He survived! Cody, what was that?
A nice way to survive the dive. The angle was good, but the execution just wasn't. Oh, Jauny.
Jauny going aggressive on the Shintalx under the tower there as he pops the Grandmaster's Might. He's just looking for the turret kill, able to get the Demolish proc. But Shintalx does not have the ultimate anymore for this play.
Nice
but Estral Esports as you called out, Beatdown, the fact that Cody is able to get the trade on Mataz without dying himself, that is a free dragon in Estral's hands.
Yeah, and Skyy gonna help try and even the odds with the play top side. Oh my god.
Skyy...
Imagine moving.
I was wondering if Skyy was going to hold on to the mouth.
He died to the redemption.
That's
god damn it.
crazy. I thought that was a bug. I was like, there's no way.
Ichiwin. Sorry, you were saying.
No, keep going.
No, that was all I wanted to say. So ×9 support. That's just I don't make the rules.
All right. Well, the first stolen Malphite ultimate is not even a kill secured. As this play, my goodness. Yeah. I'm just gonna say, Cream, if you're over in top esports prepping for Worlds, watch this Annie bot, bro. Just this is how you're supposed to play Annie, by the way. And LPL fans will know, as Estral now have the opportunity to look for this Rift Herald, as they have quite the advantage on multiple of their carries with the Trinity Force spikes. Ghost forcing Ichiwin to flee the scene with that magical journey. And they're going to instantly pop the Rift Herald and look for the tier 1 turret in the mid lane.
And they will most likely succeed, because really there's no recourse for SDM Tigres unless...
Oh, the timing from Ichiwin was just a little too late. The flash from SolidSnake with the Cyclone. Mataz tries to split him into his team with the pressing guard. The fight back, maybe it's good for the Tigres as they get a big shutdown on the SolidSnake. Solar Flare goes wide. Here comes Jauny with the flank. Cody's now isolated, and Tigres finally show their first signs of life in this best of 5 as they look to chase down Ghost and Winsome.
Finally seeing the teeth of the Tigres as they respond with a nice play, a 2-for-1. Even though they lost that mid-tier 1 turret, finally being able to pick up some kills is monumental for them with how this game has been going. This is by no means they're out of the woods just yet. They still need to do something about Ghost. He is 2k up on VODS now, which, while Jhin is often said to be more utility, AD carry, this kind of a deficit, still really difficult to deal with.
It puts a stopper to Estral's overall acceleration in this game. Credit to Ghost, he managed to escape and not put himself in a position that would have costed his life as well. Otherwise, that would have been massive shutdown bounties going over to the Tigres. Ghost still deathless on this Ezreal, scaling on up, almost fully stacked on that Manamune to complete it into a Muramana as well. Once that happens, Estral, as long as you can just create space for this Ezreal to get poked down before objectives or just let him thrive, he will bring Estral to victory every single time.
And that's the critical point. Again, a lot of SDM success is usually when Ghost is not involved, but we're getting closer to that time where, all right, pretty much everyone is going to be involved in these team fights, and they don't yet have an answer for this Ezreal. So unless they're able to isolate him or Ghost makes a mistake, every 5v5, it really should just go the way of Estral unless Skyy is able to get a huge stolen Malphite ult.
Big spells being used by Winsome with the Solar Flare. Tempered Fate locks down 2 members there. Mataz jumps in, pops the Crescent Guard as well. Not able to knock up any key targets there, though, onto Estral as Ghost is able to safely distance himself from the threat. Jauny winding up the Counter-Strike, but he's not in range of anyone, and it just at the very moment stops Estral with the siege on the top side of the map.
And of course, Shintalx can immediately move to get that mid-wave moving, forcing Skyy to respond. But ultimately, SDM, they defend their tier 2 turret, but it still took a lot of damage in the process. And now we're a minute away from the next Drake, something SDM really want to get. But with how strong Ghost is and how he'll likely have finished stacking his Muramana, the damage really isn't going to be there.
Trying to get ready now for the 3rd dragon of the game here, spawning in 40 seconds. Winsome is the first member of Estral to at least walk through the topside river, but SolidSnake finds an angle onto Ichiwin. Flash from Winsome with the Zenith Blade connecting onto VODS. That's the AD carry going for the Tigres. Ichiwin tries to flash away from the bear that is pounding his face in. Shintalx! Grande Shintalx finds the massive knockup with the Malphite ultimate on the back line, and the Tigres lose out on 2. They're going to push into the tier 2 turret and take a dragon on their way out.
so much gold gained. All the teeth we saw from SDM Tigres looking like they've been extracted by Estral Esports. Because now, yeah, we see some trades across the map. This is going to be a nice amount of gold for that tier 2, but it's just a really great play from the Estrals to get those kills. You still continue the Drake stacking with this Infernal Dragon as well, and you really limit the avenues SDM have to play this game.
It's still only a 2,000 gold advantage on Estral Esports, not totally unrecoverable from Tigres, but man, this fight so good by the side of Estral Esports.
It was a great catch out. SolidSnake flashing for that ultimate, knowing that they had an angle to get a huge fight win right before the dragon. And honestly, Shintalx, he didn't even need to show up. But sometimes it's about a message, Mark. And that message is, we want the dragon and you can't stop us.
That's right. It's not just about sending a message, it's mental victories right there. Getting someone who, for the latter part of his career, has mostly been doing content creation and streaming for Estral Esports, forced to step into a situation that is not ideal for anyone.
No.
Is thriving in this scenario, being given the tools to succeed and provide everything for Estral to succeed, as Skyy goes in with the Cyclone as the backline, but they can't cut through the redemption as Shintalx finds another great knockup onto Skyy with the unstoppable force, gets a double kill for his troubles as well. Estral continuing to snowball out of control, and the Tigres are losing any hopes in this final game.
Yes, Jauny is trying to get this wave pushed in, but it's not going to be nearly enough to combat what they have lost. And Mark, we have a growing problem here for SDM. It's Shintalx. Who is going to ever kill this Malphite? He already has too much armor for VODS to deal with. Like, who else is there? Skyy? No shot.
Definitely not with how the game has progressed at this rate. And who would have thunk that this would have been the circumstances we were looking at 2 hours into the series? We were all expecting that Tigres would be on the other side of the coin, but it is Estral that, given the short time they've had to try and work with Shintalx, get him up to speed and find compositions, find champion picks that he can be comfortable on and still provide contributions and impacts in the moments that Estral need him to. They have found so far a winning formula that has allowed the Eagles of Estral Esports to fly above Tigres, and now we are potentially moments away, maybe a couple fight or two, a Baron being secured, and it's Estral advancing to face Luminosity in the lower final.
That's right. It's really looking like that is going to be the world that we are living in, where there's very little recourse for SDM Tigres this game. Already, you can see Jauny and how little he's able to really impact Shintalx on this Malphite, who keeps stacking up the armor. And on the other side, Estral, they have so much power to work with here. You said it, Mark. One good fight, the game is over.
Solar Flare right on top of Ichiwin. That's the first death on the top side of the map, while Shintalx is making sure that Jauny is delayed on the recall. Estral still trying to push into this tier 3 turret with all 4 members, but they've used a nice amount of ultimates there. I think Cyclone still might be available for SolidSnake as Mataz goes in, pressing guard right on top of Cody. There's the receive and the counter engage. Skyy does shut down Cody, but Shintalx is ready to rock and roll as he teleports in. Has the ultimate available, but Estral call it off and don't play out the turret any further.
And this is just going to be the template of every fight we see, because Ghost, who's basically full health, not even counting the red buff, he was almost full health the entire fight, is the person you need to be looking at. And they are just never in a position to touch this guy.
Yeah, still a 4,000 gold advantage for Estral Esports. Tigres taking a look back at the replay now.
There isn't really much to say. Watch Ghost. He lost a little bit of health. I think it was a turret shot, actually, that did the damage to him. And as long as nobody's touching this Ezreal, who's so far ahead, you will lose every fight as SDM, guaranteed.
Oh my goodness, he's got a Shojin already too at 23 minutes.
Of course.
VODS is called out, forced to flash and cleanse away. Ichiwin uses the magical journey, he escapes too. Estral just getting ready for the next dragon of the game. Not their soul yet, but it would put them at soul point if Tigres are not able to respond. And given how they are still waiting for a couple more items to come online for them, they are at 2 items for the most part across all 4 of their carries here for the Tigres, but still, they are a little too far behind for comfort as they're just trying to delay the game as long as possible.
The only saving grace is the fact that they got the first dragon, meaning that this is not the soul for Estral. So play elsewhere. Ignore this bottom side part of the map. It is not yours. You will not get this dragon. What can you get in exchange? That's really what they have to ask themselves.
Jauny is setting up a split push on the top side. Mataz is going to help defend it as he shadows him on the top side of the map. Goes for a quick Gromp kill. Estral will secure their 3rd dragon of the game. Baron has now spawned, and there's an opportunity for Estral to set up aggressive vision on the top jungle quadrant, but Winsome is already there trying to scope out any wards that have been placed down.
And already a ward still remains in the Baron pit looking at the minimap, so Estral have eyes. They really have nothing to worry about, especially when you consider SDM's Baron take very slow. So the chances of them sneaking a Baron away from you are honestly microscopic.
Probably just not enough for Tigres to have a comfortable position to contest Estral. If they just decide to rip the Baron, see Cody on the bottom side of the map matching up against Jauny and the rest of Tigres trying to respond. But SolidSnake and Ghost are already here. They're going to find Mataz. Instant pull on the Cyclone. Crescent Guard answered back. Tries to jump on the Ghost, but he just gets eviscerated. Yeah, Ghost is pumping way too much as Tigres lose out on their jungler. And with Jauny, he might be caught out as well. Sidesteps the stun from the Solar Flare. The Tempered Fate will stall out the play from now, and it might just be enough for Jauny to be able to leap strike back to safety. Magical Journey from Ichiwin gets him and Skyy out. Mataz is still down for another 25 seconds. Not sure if it's enough time for Estral to pull the Baron here.
Good retreat from SDM, but it really is just minimizing the bleeding that they're already facing. Mataz is down another 15 seconds. And yes, a Baron is very much on the menu here for Estral. Imagine walking into their comp as SDM in Fog of War, because you really have nothing to work with aside from what look like 2 blue wards. It's the only way you're going to get any real vision here. Besides Ichiwin risking his life and limb.
Oh, Shintalx will find Ichiwin. Immediate pull on the trigger with the unstoppable force. That's the support gone for the Tigres. 5 versus 4 advantage. Flash from Cody. Looks for the stun. Doesn't find the stun immediately, but the damage is enough and follows it up with the Q tag. Virus does go down. Looks like he didn't have the cleanse available. Now Estral should be able to pull the Baron with confidence.
Yeah, this time they will get it 100%. Barring a miracle steal from Mataz, there really is no response to be had here. Skyy is split pushing on the other side. Should be able to get that tier 2, as I think it was low when he got there. But even with the objective bounty, it is just not enough gold to make up for the difficulties SDM faced in the game.
Baron is secured for Estral Esports, and not even a cheeky redemption will get a chance to steal it away. Ghost now playing around with Mataz in his own jungle, tries to deny the red buff away. Ichiwin and Jauny are going to come to his rescue. SolidSnake looking to see if he can follow up, throws out the Cyclone. That's the knockup. Ichiwin trying to flash away, but still stunned up by Winsome's Leona. And here comes the teleport from Shintalx just to be able to aid as reinforcements. But the play is already over, so good for you, Shintalx. you were there for the team. Rock solid, baby.
Like, I'm helping. I'm helping.
I'm here, guys.
I'm here, guys. That's tough. Not the greatest use of TP, but we're at a point where it doesn't matter, Mark. Pretty sure Shintalx, the way Estral loses this game is Ghost has to tell his teammates, all right, guys, we're losing now. And he has to just run into SDM. That's it. That's it. And I think we really got to give some props to Estral, because SDM Tigres has had their number from day one. And the fact that going into this match, SDM were the favorites because of that history really shows how gratifying it must be for Estral to be able to not only be on the cusp of victory, but a 3-0.
Boom! Skyy getting knocked up, trying to throw
what are you laughing
his
at?
own stolen unstoppable force to see if he can at least get away. But he's only delaying the inevitable. He pops the Zhonyas. Okay, he's going to make Estral work for it and just stall out his death as long as possible. Jauny looks for an opportunistic play. He knows that the Ghost is separated from a lot of the other members. There's no unstoppable force available, but they can't get on top of Ghost. Mataz jumps in, looking. Winsome is able to deflect it, and Ghost is just barely going to survive, as now he turns tail onto Ichiwin, knowing that this Bard can't do absolutely nothing. Estral Esports, not even a glimpse in their defensive formation could be enough for the Tigres to exploit it, and Estral Esports are going to close out this series in fantastic style.
LRN playoffs, be damned. SDM Tigres winning the split, be damned. Here and now, Estral will kick them out of the tournament.
Estral looking for one more kill on the VirusFx, as he has one last bullet in the chamber. It's not going to be enough. Estral Esports 3-0 sweep against the SDM Tigres. What a timeline to be living in, baby. Look at that! Shintalx! He pulled out the roar too. We need that player cam. We need that player cam, dude. What a gratifying victory for Estral Esports.
It's got to mean so much for the team, the org, and even Shintal, because these circumstances, you know, are unusual. To have to make a sub at this point in the tournament doesn't happen very often, and it was a mid laner, no less, who had to play it out in top lane. But he played out the series well. The team planned very well how they needed to work with him to be able to secure this victory. And I gotta say, everything Estral came into today's series with, I liked it a lot.
I'm at a loss for words, Beatdown. It is just insane that this is the result that we are staring at the end of this series. It wasn't even close. There was a couple times that Tigres found some decent plays, but it wasn't close. When you look at the entire series as a whole, Estral Esports being able to level up their team play and find solutions with their substitute player. Props to you. Holy, what an exciting way to overcome the odds.
This really feels like the Estral Esports that, you know, we were promised when you look at such a star-studded roster. A team that was expected to sweep all of the LRN, but ended up faltering in the winners and grand finals. So in this tournament too, they've had their fair share of struggles. But the fact that in this series here and now, even with this sub, they're able to secure this win, get themselves a date with Luminosity Gaming in that lower finals, really speaks to how much work this team has done into this tournament, and something, you know, as broadcast talent, we just love to see.
Who do we give praise to, Beatdown? Because it is deserved all around.
God,
it is deserved all around. Everyone
Cody,
from...
I'm going to say Cody.
Well, okay, yeah. Dude, Cody played out of his mind on such a straightforward champion. So many people, including myself, have disrespected how demanding it can be to play a champion like Annie, because you think, okay, you just have one job, flash forward and stun. But then that means your playstyle is very binary and it's very straightforward enough for the enemy team to outplay it. But Cody just being able to rely on pure mechanical footwork in situations where he was able to outplay it and still provide enough contributions to set up his team for success. We know that how this series started, it was with him pulling out the Vayne mid.
Yeah, that was great.
And now, and you know, by the time we get to the end of the series, it's him being able to trust in the rest of his team to carry it through. And Shintal, bro, I'm such a fan of this guy. Even when it was first announced that Shintal was having to come in, and the brief dive into his streamer content creation history, I was like, this guy has such immaculate vibes. Yes, yeah.
Look at him. You love to see it. I mean, good for him, honestly. These are not ideal circumstances. And this is his second competitive match ever, by the way. And so he deserves that excitement for contributing in no small part to his team's success.
Absolute cinema. I know that word gets tossed around a lot of times, and we were definitely using it a lot earlier in the NACL season when we were covering it, and we've tried to tone it down, but this one definitely deserves Well, at least I have. I've been trying to tone it down a lot more because it, it's like cake. You can't just eat it all the time, otherwise it loses its value. But this was purely absolute cinema. 3-0 sweep from Estral Esports with Shintalx coming in when it was their darkest hour, and he played to what the team needed him to do, and that's all you can ask for someone who has yet to have that kind of competitive stage experience coming from mostly a content creation background.
Yeah, of course. Like, top to bottom, you got to give a lot of praise to everyone on the side of Estral, who, again, really feel like they came together as a team today for the first time. Not just 5 very skilled individual players, but, a cohesive unit. Something I know Mazel says a lot, and I think is just perfectly apt for what this team is becoming, and something that you're really excited to see. Like Mataz, SolidSnake, Cody, Ghost, Winsome, everybody. And of course, Shintalx played it so well in this series. And despite it being against our expectations, I said it at the top of the show, great to be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone on our broadcast team realistically had favored Tigres going into this best of 5. We had floated the idea of, like, it would be funny if we just said, oh yeah, Estral might win a game, or they might win this series, who knows. But 3-0? That wasn't on my bingo card here on my right-hand side next to the red button too, Beatdown. And it just goes to show that this was truly a flip of the script. History has been rewritten here. And for Estral Esports, credit to Ghost, MVP of the series, and just being able to pump out the damage, but also cannot give enough credit over to the team and being able to provide him with the foundation and the keys to succeed.
Buddy, when they gave him those keys, he drove it all the way to the enemy nexus, because it has been a really good series for Ghost. Definitely deserves his flowers. Winsome, I think overall, him and Ghost together really played out those 2v2s really nicely. But when it came to the team fights, Ghost was just playing them out so beautifully.
I mean, when you consider whether it's strong front to back compositions or the dive setups, where if everyone from Estral Esports is overloading the Tigres, then no one can really identify or pick out Ghost individually, because you got to deal with SolidSnake flying in on the Lee Sin. You got to deal with Cody moving around on the Vayne, or even what was his second gameplay? But you know what? We'll discuss that later. The LeBlanc, that's right. But we have our interview lined up. I do believe it is with the support of Estral Esports, Winsome. First of all, congratulations, Winsome. Hello. What a crazy outcome given the circumstances and everything. But man, you guys made it work. My first question for you, Winsome, is what was it like working with Shintalx and getting him up to speed with you guys?
Well, honestly, our team situation was not that good, to be honest. But we try our best to what can he do, like find the solution as a team. Maybe that's kind of magic is working, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, we joked on the broadcast that, hey, anytime you have someone that comes in with not as much competitive experience, just give them a Malphite game. And you guys pulled it out in game 3. Definitely concerned about the Sylas getting a matchup into it, but what was the communication like? Because I know there's a lot of different primary languages being used on this squad.
I think our top jungle mid use Spanish a lot. So when I say something, our jungle translate for them. That's kind of work for me. Yeah, that kind of work for our team. Yeah.
And do you have to do translation then to Ghost as well, or
for sure.
Dude, so they're getting your money's worth for it out of you. You got to work hard and being not just support, but you also got to relay, be the ambassador for everyone. But for, Winsome, for next thing that I want to ask you, obviously, now that you guys have found some solutions to work with Shintalx in this roster, and you guys have grand aspirations to promote back into Tier 1, when you look at Luminosity as your next opponent, what is going through your mind on what you guys need to do? Is there something specific about Luminosity that you feel like you have to prepare for, or is it just more team focus for you guys?
Well, I think for me, I got a lot of confidence after today match, so I'm really confident for tomorrow match as well. Um, Also enemy is good, Lumina City, but I think if we play ourselves, I think we can win against them.
Yeah. And just reflecting on your journey with this roster since it was put together at the beginning of Split 2 for LRN, how do you feel like this team has evolved? Or aside from the roster change as well.
Oh well, we didn't play with him with like new top liners, so but I think we can try our best, and then I think it's gonna work. It's gonna work or not, but at least for me, I don't want to get regret for the game, so I will do my best.
Fair enough, man.
Yeah.
Again, Winsome, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on an amazing 3-0 victory. Finally being able to take down the Tigres and I got your number in playoffs, but now you get to be on the other end of it for the stakes that actually matter and fighting for a chance for LCS next year. Before I let you go, any last shout outs, any thanks that you would like to give?
Shout out to our fans. They still watching for us, so thank you so much. And then, yeah, we will keep you guys make it laugh. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Fair enough. Thank you again so much, Winsome. Good luck.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Here we are, beatdown. Estral, 3-0. Tigres. The last team representing LRN now going forward into Luminosity in the lower finals. Crazy timeline.
Yeah, and not the LRN and ACL matchup that I was expecting, all things considered. Again, going into today, thought SDM Tigres would get the three-peat, as they say, but Estral Esports, they really showed up today, and it was really exciting to see them exceed those expectations. So now, I mean, Winsome declared it. They're going to continue to make fans proud in their series against Luminosity Gaming. So after a performance like this, maybe they can actually do it.
If they were able to overcome this, who knows? And at this point, I know that Luminosity Gaming are rebounding from their own heavy loss against Disguise, getting 3-0'd in the upper final. And normally beatdown, I'm always nervous about going up against a team that got blasted because then they get locked in even further, and they usually become even more terrifying to deal with. So
yeah,
every challenge for Estral Esports is going to become even grander than the next. But this is the last LRN team. This is the heart of Latin America now resting on the lines on Estral Esports to see if they can make the Cinderella run into LCS for the 2026 season. But beatdown, that concludes our broadcast for today. Estral Esports taking the victory over. Before we go, any last words from you? Because I know you mentioned that this was your last time on the broadcast here for the promotion tournament.
Yeah, I mean, nothing else to say, really. I'm glad I got such a surprising series here with Estral Esports. Shout out NACL fans, shout out LRN fans. I'm still going to be watching, so I'm still here. That's kind of it. And whoever's casting the finals, whoever that could be, have fun, guys.
Down. It's always been a pleasure to cast with you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Brothers in cake, handshake emoji.
Yeah. Real, actually.
Yeah, so real. Also, shout out to our production staff and crew for keeping us rolling and keeping us updated and informed as we went through a few tech pauses today. Thankfully, it wasn't server issue related, just peripherals. And you know what? I'll take that over
any day.
Anything else. Absolutely. On behalf of the broadcast staff and crew, thank you so much for tuning in to another day of the LTA North Promotion Tournament. We'll see you all same time tomorrow for our lower finals. Stay tuned.